All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. What two things determine the frequency of sound heard when you slapped the pipe? Okay, what two things? Well, we have the length. Sorry.
Grab the other one and hit it.
Oh, wait, yeah. Okay, what's the difference here? Okay, so we have a difference in the length, right?
Yes.
Which means we have a difference in the wavelength.
Yeah.
Okay, and then also, what medium are we traveling through here?
The air.
Air, and so the speed of sound through whatever, water or air, whatever we're talking about, is going to also affect that. Now, if you wanted to look at an equation to help you out with that, here we go. Okay, if I wanted to solve this for frequency, frequency is velocity over the wavelength. We just talked about how velocity and the wavelength are the two things that affect it. Yeah? Okay. All right, so beats occur when waves of slightly different frequencies interfere with each other.
I shouldn't have put the tuning forks away. Well, here.
Okay, we got it.
That's it.
So it was cool because yesterday in chemistry class we left those out, and one of my girls was like, "What is that?" And I showed it to her, and she was like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, "Take physics." Okay. All right. So the oscillating between constructive and destructive interference makes a wah 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 sound, which you just heard back there. That wah wah wah, right?
Yep.
And what we have there, we have one tuning fork vibrating, and then we have the other tuning fork vibrating as well. One of them is moving a little bit slower, and we're getting destructive. We're getting
The
interference.
different frequency waves interfere with each other constructively and destructively, make the wah constructive and the woo destructive.
Yeah, and you get that loud and soft sound, that wah 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 wah. Okay, so how fast that wah 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 are depend on how close the frequencies are, right? Closer frequency, those wah wahs are gonna be a little closer. The further apart they are, wah.
And
wah,
people
wah,
in
wah.
band who are, when you tune up and you're right next to someone and you guys aren't playing the same pitch, you can hear the beats. You can hear the wah wah wah, and that's a bad thing. As it goes away, then you know you're on the same frequency.
And here's our equation: beat frequency. It's essentially the change between the two frequencies.
Yeah.
Not a positive or a negative number, just the change between the two.
Yeah.
Okay, so all musical instruments have a vibrating source of sound and some method of changing the length of a standing wave. Do I have my things in here?
Should be. That's the
which-
next one down.
I forget which drawer they're in, right? And the way back here?
Right here.
Right here. Okay, we'll just go with this one. Okay. So as I blow, this is just like the in search of sound video that Boykin. You guys know that was Mr. Boykin, right?
That was from about 1999, 1998. That was 20 some odd years ago.
And it reminds me of the woman. She's 30 now, right? Who was playing the flute.
Yeah.
Right, and she was changing the length of her instrument. So, right, but she sounded way better than I did. Okay, so.
So hold on a second.
Yeah.
Bring that back out. You've got the vibrating source is in the mouthpiece. As air blows over this opening, it's split and there's turbulence. There's a wide range of frequencies right there. And then you change the length of the standing wave by covering up
And
different
uncovering
holes.
it. Yeah, so vibrating source, essentially me blowing in the air, right?
Yeah.
And then with some of the different, you in the video you talked about, you've got the woodwinds, they had the reed that vibrates.
Yeah.
And then the air with the flute. I haven't been a musical person since. Well, I am a musical person, but I actually played trombone before I moved over here in second.
Yeah,
fourth
and the
grade.
trombone is a great example. You make the vibrating source as your lips, and you can change the length of the pipe, and that's one way of doing it.
You know, it's crazy. I used to be able to read music. That skill is long gone because it hasn't been used for a
Got to
while.
use it or lose it,
I
babe.
know. So a tuning fork produces a single frequency, a pure tone.
Yeah.
But most sounds are made up of a mix of frequencies.
It just occurs to me that there is a picture here in the physics book.
Okay.
Where is sound? Let's see, we're in chapter.
I think we're 14 or 15.
Well, it was in the reading that we assigned yesterday. This is sound spectrums. And here is, if a main note played by a violin is played, there are other resonant frequencies that are going on at the same time that we associate that sound as a violin. For a clarinet playing the same frequency, the same pitch, there's a different mix of sounds. And on a piano is a very complex instrument. There are many, many different frequencies that are there that give the quality of sound that we associate with a piano. So like this would be like a tuning fork, a pure sine wave. And then here is what would happen, say like for a violin, where you have these other frequencies that are going, even though you have the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 waves in this, they've got the same fundamental frequency. You have all this constructive and destructive interference going on that changes the overall shape of the wave, that changes the overall quality of the sound you hear.
That is cool, and that makes sense. But you can tell that this frequency is still the strongest, right? But then those other ones give it that sound that we're familiar with.
Yeah.
That mix of, it's a different mix of frequency. Not a pure one like our tuning fork. Okay, so musical instruments produce a variety of frequencies that give them their sound.
Yeah, you can tell the difference between a saxophone and a trumpet, right?
Yeah, and that's what Mr. Boykin was just talking about, right? There's a variety of frequencies there, and we see that here, right? We have a variety of frequencies here. Okay, so let's go and take a look at this video.
And what this is going to be a frequency spectrum analyzer that when you play a particular note on a different instruments, it's going to show the, are we rolling here?
Oh, no, not yet.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead and start it.
Okay. I want to make sure they...
And the musical term is timbre. Okay, we're going to play a piano. You can see all of the frequencies that are present. You got the main note here, and then all these. Here's a harpsichord. It has a different sound.
Whoa.
Here's a nylon string guitar, and another mix of frequencies.
And notice the note over here, right? They're playing the same
pitch.
Yeah.
Now there's a viola. Look how rich that is, and you
lots of different stuff over there. Same with this one.
Cello. You're all playing this. And saxophone.
And like Boykin said, they're the same frequency, right? That's the same note.
The same basic fundamental pitch that they're playing, but there's this mix of frequencies that are there as well that give accordion.
Oh, all over there.
Cool.
Yeah, is that all of them?
That's it.
That's it. Okay, so that is totally cool, and you can see how that's so much different than a tuning fork, right? Tuning fork is just like
sine wave.
One solid frequency, but the sounds that we hear from instruments are a mix of different frequency. And like you said, there's one bass. Yeah. There's one bass main, note that they're playing.
That's called the fundamental.
But there's other sounds in there as well. It's not a pure frequency there. Okay. So musical instruments. Make sure I got the right thing here. Musical instruments produce a variety of frequencies that give them their sound. We just said this, okay? Yeah. Oh, and we just did this as well. Okay, so it is this mix of frequencies that gives the quality to the sound.
Yep.
Right? Ooh, that sounds nice.
And that works for people too. Different people sound differently, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, they do. Okay. So, if you have if you have your eyes closed, how can you tell where a sound is coming from? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take these off here. Okay, boy, can you go stand in the middle over there?
Me?
Yeah, you. And then I'm gonna go ahead, close your eyes.
They won't be able to tell.
You don't think they can hear from there?
Well, is it stereo?
Probably not. No.
No, you'll have to do this with the kids in the room.
Okay.
You're going
So-
to have them use their.
So I'll go ahead and explain what I'm gonna do with them, okay?
All right.
And we'll give you something else to do, okay? So for my people in the room, what we would do is I would ask you to close your eyes.
Yep.
And I would say, how can you what was the question? How can you tell where the sound is coming from? And I would go, right? I'd walk from one side to the other, and then you would tell me from left to right, Miss Moore. And then I might say.
And you kids at home could do the same thing by closing your eyes and snapping your fingers.
Now, obviously, you're moving your own hand. Okay.
So you know what it is, but you can also hear where the sound is coming from.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
How do you do that? What's going on? Okay, and then what about, right? Or, okay, you can tell that these are coming from different places, right? So how can you tell what
So
is
if you
going on?
pause the video and close your eyes and snap your fingers high and low and listen to the difference in sound. But you can tell where it's coming from. How does that work?
How does it work? Okay, so the outside of your ear is called the pinna. Okay, so you've got little lobes here, you've got the little things sticking out here. Miss Moore's wearing earrings.
Yeah, why do you have all those bumps? Feel your ears. You got all those lumps and bumps and things.
It kind of curls under right here. Some people have a couple different shapes going on.
Attached or detached, hanging down things.
You get the little bar, right? Okay. So we have these different the pinna, okay? And what's going on with these? What is the purpose? So sound reflects off of these bumps and into your ear. So some of the sound goes directly in, right? Directly in there, okay?
Yep.
But other sound maybe bounces here and gets reflected into there. Some of it bounces off that little bumpy thing you got here and it kind of skiddats into there, gets reflected.
And all these things, you have a single wave that comes in. Some of it goes immediately in. Some of it bounces off of different things, follows a longer path, comes in just a very small time later.
And that's important. So for a single sound wave, like Mr. Boykin just talked about coming in, those reflections off your pinna enter your ear canal at slightly different times, and they interfere with each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so so that timing lets you know, okay, maybe it hits this ear first, that ear second. That timing helps you figure out where the sound is coming from.
That's one thing. But what happens is, how long have you had your ears on your head?
As long as I can remember.
That's right, since before you were born. So what happens is you're used to, if a sound wave comes from up here, it's going to bounce, some of it's going to go straight in, it's going to bounce off different patterns. If it's coming from over here, it'll bounce off, coming in like this, it'll bounce off a different one. If it's coming from down low, can't see it. If it's coming from down low, it'll bounce off produce a different pattern. And if it's coming from up high, you get a different mix. And over the entirety of your life, you have gotten used to the location of sounds that produce these slightly different sounds. Yeah?
It's a beautiful thing, right? And so, we're dealing with experience here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is an evolutionary thing,
Right.
right? We've got the wolf twig scenario, right? Back in the day, when you were trudging through the forest, doing your thing in the lovely city of Merced, and maybe there is a wolf on the prowl, you heard a twig snap, and then you can tell where it's coming from,
And
right?
you turn your head in the direction of the sound that you heard, and that allows, or if you're hunting, if you're hungry and you're looking for something to eat, and there's a cute little cuddly bunny. Oh, it's so cute. It looks delicious. So,
I know, because the chances of you outrunning a wolf, okay, but the bunny hunger scenario is a little bit more real, right? And so this is an evolutionary thing. It's a characteristic that was passed on.
well, wolf, you got your knife or your spear, say, come on, sucker.
Exactly.
I'm hungry too.
Okay, so where does sound come out when you talk?
Wait, what? What's this question?
What? Where it comes out of your mouth, right?
That's what you would think. But say something.
Hi, I love physics.
And now hold your nose and say the same thing.
I love physics. Oh, okay. So sound comes out of your mouth, but it also maybe comes out of your nose?
Yep.
Okay. What if I put your hands on your heads here, okay, and say I love physics? I know. Do it. Okay. Pause video. I love physics.
And put your your fingers on different parts of your skull and talk, and you can hear the vibrations.
I love
I
physics.
beg your pardon, you can feel the vibrations.
I love it. Oh yeah. I love. I got a pocket full of sunshine. You just seen Easy A. Anyways, okay.
So here's the thing, your whole head is resonating, and sound is coming from all those different things that makes the sound that is you.
And you know what? We have sinuses.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're like me, maybe you have a sinus infection. You guys have heard that before.
Yeah.
So what are sinuses?
They're openings in they're holes in your skull.
Yeah. And so just like with our ear, which is, just like with our tube here, an opening is just an opportunity for resonance.
That's right.
Right?
That's a great way to put it.
And
so you have all these resonating chambers in your head.
yeah, and so that's part of how we have, or when we speak, we feel our whole face vibrating. What we really have is vibrations, different frequencies interfering with each other in those resonance structures throughout our whole body, and we produce sound.
And so all of those resonating chambers produce their own particular frequency that adds together into the mix to give the quality of sound
Of my voice.
That's right.
Now, what about, do people in your family, do they tend to sound the same? Or do you know, or just in general, people sound differently as well, right?
Yeah.
Like I sound different than Mr. Boykin, right?
Yeah.
And so aside from hormonal things, why do we sound different? What's going on there? And if you've ever noticed, some people who are in the same family, like me and all my sisters, we kind of sound the same.
Yeah.
What's going on there? And so, genetically, people in the same family, they have similar structures. Not only do they look the same on the outside, but they also have similar structures on the inside.
On the inside,
right?
that's right.
And so, the more similar you are with that respect, the more chance you have of sounding similar as well.
You'll have a similar mix of frequencies that produces the quality of sound that you associate with those people in that family.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to bang in your head?
Here. I can just.
I know they can hear it. And so what's going on there? What was Mr. Boykin changing?
I was changing the volume of my mouth.
And so that affects the resonance in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like changing the length, right? Of
It does. It changes the length. It changes the frequency. That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So how do you say an A sound?
Say it right now. Say A.
A. Yeah,
All right.
you.
Hey, you!
A, you. Okay, so say the A sound. How about the other vowels? You guys remember the vowels from English? A, E, I, O, and U, and sometimes Y?
Yeah.
Right?
And what are you doing differently with your mouth to make those sounds?
A, E, I, O. Ooh, okay. Okay, so I'm changing the shape of my mouth too,
That's right.
as well. And when I talk, I'm doing the same thing.
So pause this video. Well, do it yourself now.
Yeah.
Say A, E, I, O, U, and be aware of what your mouth is doing.
A, E, I, O. O is deeper. And
Yeah.
O, and I change the shape of my mouth there. Okay. And you. Okay, so,
Well, go back for a
go
second.
back. What we're going to do, we're going to ask something
Clench
else.
your teeth. So
Oh, yeah.
don't move your teeth. Don't move your lips. And do A, E, I, O, U. No teeth, no lips. Go ahead.
A, E, I, O, and U. And I can feel the inside of my mouth making the move, like moving, because my lips and teeth.
A,
move.
E, I, O, U.
You can see the
A,
movement down
E,
there.
I, O, U.
Yeah.
A, E, I, O, U. And do that. How are you doing that? What are you changing that makes the different vowel sounds?
Very cool, very cool. Okay, so.
Well, it's the shape of the inside of your mouth. You're changing the structure of the resonating chamber, which changes the mix of frequencies that are coming out, producing those sounds A, E, I, O, U.
So next time someone says, where does sound come out when you talk? You let them have it. Right? So your body.
Nobody's ever going to say that.
When it comes up in conversation casually.
That's right.
So your body is a resonator, producing a wide range of frequencies that combine to make your sound.
That's right.
Very cool. Oh, shoot. Oh, did I just close everything? I did. How did I do that? Hold on. Oh, no, I didn't close it. There it is. There it is. Ah, okay. Okay, so the quality of a sound is produced by the mix of waves that interfere to produce the resulting wave.
Yeah.
And we may have Mr. Boykin play a harmonica for us at a later time.
Yeah, I forgot to bring it today.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the big thing. It's a mix of waves that interfere for the quality.
And that's all the content that we've
Yeah.
got for this unit. Now all we need to do is review for the quiz.
Yeah, so quiz is going to be tomorrow, I believe. I might have to check my dates now, but it should be tomorrow. And here we go. Let's start off. So what two things determine the loudness of a sound that you hear? Okay. So one of them is going to be how close you are.
Speak
right?
up, Miss Moore. I can't hear you. I'm too far away.
Can't hear. Sometimes I'm like, can you guys hear me in the back? Yes, you can. Okay. And also the amplitude.
Yep.
Right?
Of the source.
Mm-hmm. So and for amplitude we just mean, okay, does it have a big amplitude? Or well, that's too big.
Yeah, you got to do the small one first.
Small things you learn. Okay. So how do we hear the difference between a high and a low frequency?
Yeah, what's that word?
Just the difference in pitch.
That's right.
Right? So as the van is coming towards you, how is the frequency you hear different from what the driver hears? Well,
Honking the horn, yeah.
yeah, in my experience, when we're outside and you were driving towards me, it was a high pitch.
Right.
Right? Higher than what the driver was hearing, that is. And as the van is going away from you, away from me, I heard a lower pitch than what the driver heard.
Yeah.
Okay, so as the van is passing by you, what happens to the frequency you hear? So right as it's passing by me, it goes from that high to low.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, exactly, just like that. Okay. What is the Doppler effect?
We asked this question yesterday.
We did, and what diagram would explain the Doppler effect? You will have to do this on the quiz.
Yeah, find it in your notes. You should have this.
I'm not gonna draw it again. You guys can go find it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should have it.
So, review for our quiz.
Okay.
Good luck.